Hey there, this is the Bunnies Brigade. My name's Leanna. I'm a clicker trainer and rabbit behaviorist. This here is Peppa. Some of you might have been following along on our Instagram what's been going on with her. Well, Peppa recently had surgery. So I thought I'd jump on here in front of the camera and tell you the whole story from how I identified there was a problem that needed veterinary attention in the first place to her post-surgical care. There are a lot of rabbit care channels that talk about how you must keep your rabbits indoors, and we are no exception. The situation with Peppa is a prime example as to why it's beneficial to do so. As house rabbits, Wally and Peppa share an apartment with us, and because we spend all day, every day with them, we've gotten to know their personalities extremely well, their daily routine and all their little habits. Peppa is outgoing, energetic, she loves cuddles, she inhales her food, she gets very hyper in the mornings, it's her peak troublemaking time. So when I noticed her taking longer than old Wally to eat her veggies, where is Wally? He's over there. Can you see him? And in the following days, leaving half the bowl, I started to get concerned. She started to become reluctant to come when she was called, and then she didn't want to get up in the mornings. It was all so out of character for her, and it was clear to me that she was in pain. She'd spend the entire day hiding in this house behind me. Now, hiding away for unusually long periods of time is a very clear sign that something is wrong with your rabbit. When rabbits are in pain, they will hide away and keep very still and quiet. It's a defense mechanism. In the wild, they try to go unnoticed by predators because they won't have a chance at running away when they're not feeling well. So the first thing to do when you realize your rabbit is acting this way, hiding away, not eating, is to try to determine if it's GI stasis. GI stasis is when their gastrointestinal tract, that's what GI stands for, slows or stops moving. It's the most common problem that can occur with rabbits, and if left unnoticed or untreated, it will very quickly lead to death. Most stories of rabbits dying suddenly of seemingly unknown causes are actually usually GI stasis. So if you suspect something is wrong, get their favorite food in the whole wide world and see if they'll take it. Also take note of if they've pooped recently or not, and when they do poop, examine it. If they're not pooping and not interested in their favorite foods, then it's very likely you have a case of stasis and you will need to treat it as an emergency. When it comes to rabbit health, the most important thing is to make sure they keep eating and keep pooping. Stasis can be a symptom of another issue, but so long as their gut keeps moving, that issue can be addressed without any cause for panic. Peppa thankfully did not have stasis, so my next thought was perhaps it's a dental issue, another common problem for rabbits as their teeth are always growing. She definitely seemed to be having trouble chewing, but I didn't know if this was for dental reasons or just because she was distracted by the pain. She was zoning out a lot just throughout the day because of the pain. Now, I realize at this point in my story, you are probably wondering why I hadn't scheduled a vet appointment yet. Well, two reasons. Due to COVID restrictions, the vets have been backed up and I actually couldn't get an appointment for months. Also, I wasn't sure if she needed to see a specialist. Why? Well, she's had a problem with her left eye for years. You might have noticed it actually in some of our videos, but it's never seemed to bother her at all in the past, so I always just monitored it and didn't worry too much. I was noticing she also started laying her left ear down a lot and only raised her right ear when she heard something. So I suspected there must be something going on with the left side of her face, and because that's the side her funny eye is on, perhaps it was the eye that was causing the trouble. So I decided to book in an appointment with a rabbit savvy ophthalmologist, and well, it wasn't her eye. That was just a regular cataract. I'd figured it was probably a cataract. But there were no signs of glaucoma developing, which is what I thought could be a possibility. So it definitely wasn't the cause of the pain. So now I'm back to thinking it has to be a dental issue. And if not, it could be something much more severe. She has had ecaniculi before that we treated. That was actually how she ended up with that cataract. So I hadn't ruled EC out either. Anyway, I did manage to get her in at the regular vet shortly after. And here's where all these observations that I've made and attempts to self-diagnose played a big part. The vet didn't immediately find anything wrong. But after I told her I suspected it was her molars, that she was eating strangely, and how she was reluctant to raise her left ear, the vet examined that area more closely. And that's when she discovered an abscess on Peppa's left jaw. Before I continue, I want to highlight again how having Peppa and Wally live indoors with us as part of our family, having them trained to respond to commands, it helped us catch this abscess early on. She could have very easily gone into GI stasis and needed emergency care had I not immediately noticed the little changes in her behavior. And not only that, but there's a chance the vet may have missed the lump as well. So if nothing else, this is why rabbits should be kept indoors. Peppa got some antibiotics from that vet visit, which evidently gave her a lot of relief. She was managing to eat with a little more ease. She was responding well to commands again, jumping up on the sofa, and even came up on the bed for her early morning cuddles, which she loves. That is the Peppa that we know. But those antibiotics were never going to completely eradicate the abscess, and we knew she had to have surgery to remove the thing. So after x-rays and a good shake of the money tree that we don't have, she went in for surgery. We are just arriving at the vets now. Peppa has her surgery today to remove her abscess. I'm very nervous about this. Peppa and Wally were already neutered when we adopted them. So it's been a very long time since I've had a rabbit go under anesthesia. So wish her the best of luck, and I hope everything goes nice and smoothly and easily. You can probably see her face is all shaved on the left side, and she kind of looks a bit freaky. Oh, poor thing. But it all went very, very well, and it was a little bit longer. She was in there for a little bit longer than I had hoped, but it's all been removed. She's had 2 teeth removed, and they actually gave me the teeth, which is so strange, but kind of cool. But we're gonna take her home now, and maybe she might be a bit groggy, who knows. But let's see if we can get her eating some food at home. The most likely instance in which your own rabbit will need post-operative care would be after a spay or neuter. But whatever the surgery, when you get them home, it is crucial you get them eating and pooping. GI stasis is becoming a theme here. As I said, if that GI tract stops, then you have a problem on your hands. It's likely they won't eat the moment they get home, as the whole ordeal can leave them feeling very stressed, and when rabbits are feeling stressed, the last thing they want to do is eat. Chances are your vet may have syringe fed them after the surgery anyway, so there's no immediate rush, but be sure to ask them if they did or not. Just leave their favorite foods accessible in a spot they would usually eat in and give them some time to get comfortable being back home. Don't crowd them, just keep a watchful eye on them from across the room, and after a couple of hours, they should perk up and start feeling safe enough to eat. They may, however, still be in some pain. As I mentioned earlier, if they're in pain, they'll hide away. Maybe a fine-ish method for saving your skin from a predator in the wild, but not a good way to prevent stasis. If this is the case, you will need to syringe feed. Critical Care is the go-to product for syringe feeding because it contains the vital nutrients they need. And I should probably go get a packet, so bear with me. Here I am, I'm back. And this is a packet of Critical Care. Your vet may supply you with some, but you should really always have a pack or two for emergencies anyway. Now it's really easy to make up, and the instructions are on the back. You just simply add water a little at a time to about 2 tablespoons of the powder and stir it until it's a baby food consistency. Give them 15 to 25 mils when needed, which could be 3 or 4 times a day if they're really refusing to eat anything at all. We would give a medication to combat the pain and therefore encourage her to eat on her own, and you will undoubtedly be given some as well, no matter what the surgery was. So make sure you're administering that at the time you've been instructed to by your vet. Once they've got food in their bellies, now you're watching for poops. Isn't it lucky that you watched this litter training video and your rabbit consistently uses their litter box? So you know if they're in that box, they're probably having a poo, and you can go have a look at it once they've finished. Peppa didn't actually poop at all that evening, and I could only really make out Wally's poop in the litter box the next morning. So I gave Peppa a long, gentle tummy rub first thing to try and get things moving. And after some more Critical Care for breakfast, she did have a poop. By the early evening, she was starting to eat on her own, and by the end of the day, she managed to eat her whole bowl of veggies. Always be monitoring those poops, size, shape, and how much they are pooping. You should be doing that on any regular day anyway. Poop balls should get progressively larger and more quantitative over time. If your rabbit doesn't eat and poop within 24 hours, then call your vet for advice. We did still have to syringe feed Peppa for the first couple of mornings that followed, and I was making sure to cut or tear up her veggies into more bite-sized pieces that she didn't need to chew on too much. Every day has been an improvement, and Wally has taken very good care of her, haven't you, bud? Yes, you have. I'm filming this almost a week on from the surgery. Her incision wound has been healing up really nice, and she doesn't appear to be showing any signs of discomfort anymore. She's getting her big appetite back, and I'm looking forward to seeing her Binky again very, very soon. Thanks for listening to Peppa's story. If it's been beneficial, please go ahead and give it a like. And if you have your own stories, tell them in the comments. I'm not a vet, but it's always good to share our experiences with the community. Remember, if you're noticing any unusual behavior in your rabbit, get them to the vet as soon as you can. And if they're not eating or pooping, it's an emergency that needs immediate attention. See you in the next one.